Me and Payne have a relationship not many people know about, and we're secret lovers.
He grabbed booty.
Now I want to be Todd's secret lover. I'll be Baker's open lover and Todd's secret one. Welcome to the real winners and losers from NFL Week 3. The first 2 passing touchdowns on Sunday came by the backup arms of Marcus Mariota and Carson Wentz. We had 4 blocked field goals on Sunday, 2 returned for touchdowns. The Browns shocked the Packers, which is no different than the Brown after the shocker. Derrick Henry nearly injured himself in anger after fumbling the Monday Night Football game away. We may have witnessed the greatest individual defensive performance ever. The Chiefs finally get a win, but before I reveal the real winners and losers, I've got your blop 10 plays. 10 plays so disgusting, not even Iron Eagle will say them.
He grabbed booty.
And now it's actually 12 plays when you factor in the Levis 11. Trayvon Diggs looked the most like Will Levis in coverage. Someone needs to tell him that they are not in fact playing a game of tag. Keep playing like this, Trayvon, and there's no way you're gonna get an invite to Stephon and Cardi B's wedding. Blop 10, Tom Brady casually admitting he is the modern day Mike Vick.
And Pick's not happy. Yeah, those helmets can be, it's like the dog at home.
Wow.
Kick right the dog, throw the helmet, whatever it is.
Last week it was the blood money. This week it's animal abuse. Next week I feel like he's gonna admit that he framed Aaron Hernandez. Blop 9. Back on Thursday night, the Bills crowd was asking Ryan Fitzpatrick to
turn the season around. Fitz to take his shirt off. That's it. Already?
Take it off.
We're back, Fitz. Now show them your tits.
20 years after Girls Gone Wild and society has done a 180, pressuring men now into showing their tits on camera. And I'm happy with where we're at. Blop 8, this security guard sneaking a peek at Devontae Smith's fiance and nearly breaking his neck in doing so. This is definitely a single guy. Married men know the art of eye discipline. The Eagles have the tush push and now apparently the glute glaze, the posterior pier, the derriere stare. Oh yeah, that's the one. Blop 7, Iron Eagle just couldn't help himself, could he?
He was looking for booty. He grabbed booty.
I'm glad Ian is paired with J.J. Watt now because I truly believe Dan Fouts would have strangled the voice out of him after the second booty joke.
He was looking for booty.
Blop 6, Dan Quinn gets knocked out and bloodied after Marcus Mariota pushed out of bounds. You know, I can't help but think maybe his face would have been shielded by the bill of his hat had he been wearing it forward. Another huge win for Colin Cowherd. Blop 5, Samaje Perine fumbles twice on the same play. This is what happens when you spend a year on the Chiefs and you owe interest on your devil magic. Blop 4, the Falcons' new kicker, Parker Romo, drilled the kick in heavy traffic before the game started. It's really unfortunate he went to all of that trouble just to lose 30-0 and miss both of his actual in-game kicks. Somewhere, a young ho is laughing. Blop 3, Stafford's diving handoff. Under no circumstances do I want to see my 37-year-old quarterback completely off the ground at a 45-degree angle for a fucking handoff. This was the same angle that Ralph Wiggum shot through that window. Blop 2, Marvin Harrison had a drop so bad I think Peyton Manning called up Harrison's dad and yelled at him. I just wish Olamide Zacchaeus could have come in to celebrate the drop with him. And Blop 1, this isn't the craziest blop, but the more I watch Michael Penix trying to tackle, the more I laugh. Guys, I haven't seen someone fail so badly to bring down a Michael Jackson since Macaulay Culkin. And Blop 0, this damn Nico Collins fumble that cost the Texans the game. And don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. We are less than 10,000 subscribers away from hitting 800,000. I think we can get there before the end of September, and if we don't, YouTube's gonna delete my channel. That's what they said. You wanna test YouTube, guys? You wanna test YouTube? Today's episode is sponsored by PrizePicks. We are 69 signups away from 1,200 this month. Nice. Nice, 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 nice. Nice. Again, every 200 signups with my code TGS or the link below gets me a big bonus from Prize Picks, so it would be nice if we get 69 more. Nice. You can follow me on Prize Picks. I've been following back every day, and this might shock you, but I've won on my last 3 plays. I got Sunday night's picks correct, and you can see what I play if you follow me. This week, you can take advantage of their Jalen Hurts max discount. They offer something like this every week. I've been using them to win, and what I'm learning is that Prize Picks offers much better plays than what I'm accustomed to when building my lineup. So make your first $5 deposit and get $50 in lineups with my code TGS. And if we hit 6,000 total signups by the Super Bowl, I've got a great punishment for myself that I'll reveal later, probably in Power Rankings tomorrow. Let's begin with stimulation. Sunday was all stimulation, and the most stimulating play, aka the Arthur Smith Award, is a 3-way tie between the Jets, Eagles, and Browns, all for blocking field goals late in their games. Jordan Davis hit a speed of 18.59 miles per hour on his touchdown return after the Philly block. He became the fastest 300-plus pound man in NFL history. The guy who blocked the kick for the Browns was, of course, Shelby Harris, a dude that still has a knack for slapping the balls and making plays in huge moments. And the most impressive part of all these blocked kicks is that magically, none of them used any sort of leverage. And the Jets were somehow the only team to lose after blocking a kick and returning it for a touchdown, giving us our beautiful but losing dance. Thank you, Aaron Glenn. I feel for Aaron since I was him last week when I thought the Broncos had defeated the Colts.
Excuse my language, like you gotta fucking be shitting me.
Let's throw back to Thursday. Mr. Thursday Night himself, Josh Allen, has never lost on TNF. That's an elite stat, but Jalen Waddle had the elitist stat at halftime with 2 catches, 0 yards, and a touchdown. That was a microcosm of the passing game overall, as both Josh Allen and Tua managed the lowest air yards per completion since 2016. The Dolphins opened this game with a 10-play, 47-yard TD drive capped with an Ollie Gordon rushing TD. They looked like a real team and scored right before the half as well, but after the first 3.5 quarters, Miami morphed back into Why is Tyreek Hill's neck so thick? Probably to protect him from Tua and his winning hospital balls. Even if, say, a defender wasn't torpedoing in right here, making your running back jump for a swing pass or a screen is just terrible ball placement. Winning 300?
This is Sparta!
Josh Allen, who made history when he surpassed Patty Mahomes with his only Mahomes touchdown flip to become the fastest player in NFL history to record 300 total TDs. If that isn't worthy of the only Mahomes award, I don't know what is. Sadly, I think we found Josh Allen's kryptonite. No, not the Chiefs in the playoffs. No, his ability to kneel a football properly. A massive loser this week is Colts punter Rigoberto Sanchez, who had to punt for the Colts for the first time this season.
Colts fans, if you just started following the team this year, this is called a punt.
Check out Iowa football.
Let's stop for a moment of silence as Rigoberto had to report to work again.
And so far, here are the highlights for Rigoberto Sanchez in 2025.
I mean, he's done an awesome job. Nice hold. Another terrific hold.
Imagine having to do your job for the very first time after being at work for 3 weeks. The Colts finally punted, but their single punt in 3 games is still the fewest by any team dating back to 1940. We hadn't even fought the Nazis the last time this happened. The Titans got their first rushing TD of the season, 2 streaks came to an end, and the next thing that might end is Brian Callahan's tenure as the Titans head coach. He's 3-17, which is the worst ever for any coach that lasted 20 games. Fans were chanting, "Fire Callahan, fire Callahan." After he had our losing game management situation, Callahan couldn't decide on a field goal or going for it on 4th and 1, which led to a delay of game before half.
It's absolutely unacceptable. The fans are booing, and they should be, but we just went Colts timeout, Titans timeout, Titans delay a game on a field goal attempt. That might be a first.
When the opposing team is saying you look sluggish during pregame intros, it might be time to question the head coach.
They kind of looked a little sluggish. They're kind of walking around and nobody was really bouncing. And right then and there, like, we all sat there and we're like, they don't want to play today. And mentally, we thought that we wanted to play more than they did.
I'd argue the Titans have looked sluggish, though, since trading A.J. Brown. And we've given Indiana Dimes a ton of love, and rightfully so. He's the best surprise of the season. In fact, Dan Jones is getting $100,000 in bonuses for every win this season. But I also have to give some love to running back Jonathan Taylor, this week's winning back. He had another 100-yard rushing performance against the Titans, making him the leading rusher in the NFL. Taylor deserves massive credit because he is a huge reason the Colts have only punted once in their first 3 games. Taylor rushed for 3 touchdowns to help give the Colts a 3-0 start. And his rookie tight end, Ty Warren, knows how to pave a path for him.
With this block! Watch 84, bam! Right there!
My Unhung Hero Award this week goes to a Cleveland Brown who's been working his way into the lineup. I speak of Quinshawn Judkins, who's been quietly productive since last week and was a massive reason the Browns were able to upset Green Bay. Judkins carried 18 times for 94 yards against a stout Packers defense, plus his first NFL TD that got the Browns back into the game late. Huge. Judkins is averaging 5.5 yards per carry through his first 2 NFL games. No small feat when you're a Cleveland Brown. Another Browns rookie, Mason Graham, got his first NFL sack and generated 4 pressures. That said, the Halliburton joke of the week goes to the Packers. Before the block, Jordan Love threw his first pick of the season, and it was a costly one. The Packers avoided disaster when Josh Jacobs fumbled the ball, only so Brandon McManus could come in and have his 43-yard field goal blocked by the most perfectly placed hand I have ever seen.
It's blocked! Oh my God, no!
Losing Cliff, the one the Packers fell off of in this win probability chart. 14 penalties for Green Bay, most in a game for the Packers since 2010. The Packers don't get the Bedshitters award, but Micah Parsons will be our spokesman for the award moving forward. Thank you, Micah.
And sometimes, just like today, you the bed. That's just the reality of it. Like, it happens to the best teams.
Winning blueprint, the Packers, showing the NFL how to block Myles Garrett finally.
Jordan! Jordan, run!
Yes!
Losing announcer, Chris Collinsworth, who found a way to do the thing. He did the thing. Patty Mahomes threw a backwards pass to a directionally challenged Isaiah Pacheco, which was a fumble, and then Mahomes did strip the ball back in true only Mahomes type fashion.
And he stole it.
Took it away from him!
That's a turnover created by Patrick Mahomes.
Oh my gosh!
But Collinsworth, you would have thought that Pat just broke the record for most passing touchdowns in a game by listening to Chris talk about this play.
I can't tell you how good a play that is. So many quarterbacks would have done nothing here. The Kansas City Chiefs have been like the coolest team ever.
Yeah.
Right? Then he just threw it in the other guy's hole.
This was an ugly game, start to finish. Mahomes' best throw in the first half was indeed a 70-yard pass interference call with 7 seconds left. Winning quarrel, Travis Kelce and Andy Reid, who, like a good Sunny D commercial, were just looking for that juice.
What's your message to the team?
That's okay. We need some juice, so that's good.
Cam Scatterbo was somehow the Giants' leading rusher and receiver. Maybe if Russ found him in the red zone instead of airmailing pass after pass after pass out of the back of the end zone, the Giants would have had a chance. Losing throw? Russell Wilson throwing the ball away on 4th down. He gave the 5 Giants running routes on that play a 0% chance to do anything. A guy who was taking unnecessary risks all night suddenly decides to be safe with the football when it's literally the worst thing you could do? A play so embarrassing, Chris Jones doesn't even want Russell Wilson's jersey anymore.
Did you ask him again tonight?
I don't even want it. It's all good. I don't want it.
Russ was a runner-up for the Hospital Ball Award as well, but at least when Russ throws a hospital ball, it takes out players from the opposing team as well. Off to Seattle, where we had the coolest shit game of the week. I thought maybe the Broncos would be put out of their eternal shame for giving up 70 points in 60 minutes of football. The Seahawks led 38-3 at one point thanks to a 95-yard punt return by rookie Torrey Horton, who's already got 3 TDs in his young season. Cool shit. Seattle blocked a punt just moments later that led to another touchdown. Cool shit. The Seahawks took their foot off the gas in the second half thanks to Sam Darnold having a Ginger of the Week performance with 218 yards and 2 TDs on just 18 attempts, giving him the highest passer rating on Sunday. Ginger shit. Hell, we even got to see Drew Horsecock Locke throw 3 passes in Garbigio time. Cool shit. Now, winning quarterback? Yeah, Caleb Williams, who's gotten ridiculed the first 2 weeks of the season, and rightfully so, but that means we gotta give him credit where credit is due. The magical duo of Caleb Williams and Big Ben Johnson got their first win together at the expense of the Dallas Cowboys. And I'll just share one stat that will give all other stats some really important context. This was the first game of Caleb Williams' career where he did not take a sack. You regretting that Micah Parsons trade, Jerry? Huh? Jerry, first game Caleb doesn't take a sack is against the Cowboys, who said that they could just scheme up pressure after they traded Micah. I only got one thing to say. You really are Jerry Jones!
There's a very low percentage of this that is smiles and glory holes. Very low percentage.
And then he just threw it in the other guy's hole.
So if Caleb's not getting planted 6 feet under and he's getting the ball out on time, that frees him up to throw for 298 yards, 4 touchdowns, and no picks. Probably the most important play he made all day was showing enough patience, waiting for the toss on this flea flicker.
Bears on 3, 1, 2, 3. Bears!
Then launching a missile downfield to rookie receiver Luther Burden. Burden had his first 100-yard day as a pro, plus DJ Moore, Romo Duns wasn't built in a day, and Cole Kmet all had touchdowns.
Bears on 3, 1, 2, 3. Bears!
Losing QB, you can't get shut out by the Carolina Panthers 30-0 and expect to escape the title of losing quarterback. And trust me, we had some genuinely bad quarterback play this week, but Michael Penix was genuinely awful, so bad in fact that we got a cameo from our old friend Big Kirko Cousins by the end of the game. Get out there and earn that $40 million, Kirk. Penix was the starter though, and he missed on half of his 36 passing attempts, racking up just 172 yards and throwing a pair of interceptions in the process. These weren't just ordinary picks either. Penix threw a lollygagger straight to Chow Smith-Wade for a walk-in touchdown, then a near second pick six to Panthers corner Michael Jackson, where Penix made, again, one of the worst, or really two of the worst tackling attempts we've ever seen. If there was an opposite of the Angry Runs Award called the Docile Tackles, that would be this week's winner. At least you weren't tackling your own punt returner like Billy Bowman. The Falcons couldn't even manage a field goal. Oh, that's right, you should have scored 6, but your new kicker, John Parker Romo, missed both field goal attempts. Guys named Romo and chip shot field goal attempts just do not mix.
Oh, it is fumbled by Romo, and then Romo's going to run to the end zone, and he's going to get tackled.
Now, winning backup quarterback, well, we had 5 backup QBs starting this week, and 2 of those 5 were going head-to-head in the Vikings Bengals shootout. I think you can guess which QB is getting the award. I'm going to give it up for Carson Wentz, coming off the bench, only 8 years removed from his near MVP season. JJ McCarthy is currently recovering from playing like complete ass on Sunday Night Football, and Wentz kept that offense humming near perfectly, hitting 14 of his 20 passes for 173 yards and a pair of touchdowns with no picks. Good for Carson Wentz, who actually became the first QB in NFL history to start a game for 6 different teams in 6 consecutive seasons. That's a level of good and bad that honestly boggles the brain. It begs the question, though, can Carson Wentz reverse the curse that Nick Foles laid upon him all those years ago by stealing a second-year quarterback's job and leading his team to the Super Bowl? I think it's possible. Running back Jordan Mason, another backup, my winning backup back, had 116 rushing yards and 2 TDs for the Vikings. But Wentz and Super Bowl MVP is possible when the Vikings have this next guy I want to talk about. Holy pajesus, my winning defender. I don't know how you could give this award to any other person but Isaiah Rodgers, the new starting corner for the Minnesota Vikings. Rodgers became the first defensive player in Vikings history to have 2 defensive touchdowns in the same game. A pick 6 and a strip 6. Rodgers is the number one reason the Vikings went belt to ass on the Cincinnati Bengals. He took a Jake Browning pass 87 yards the other way, then a quarter later dislodged the ball from Noah Fant, recovered it, and took that one back 66 yards to the end zone. If that wasn't enough, he also forced another fumble to set up a 62-yard field goal right before halftime. Yes, before half, he did all of that in 30 fucking minutes. Hell, the Vikings defense forced 3 fumbles in the final 2 minutes of the half. Rodgers played 3 years in Indy, spent a year suspended for gambling violations, then was a backup last year in Philadelphia. He's getting his chance to start, and he single-handedly swung this game in the Vikings' direction. His final stat line, just to recap, was a pick 6, 2 forced fumbles, and 1 fumble recovery for a TD. He also had a pass breakup and just 1 catch allowed for 2 yards. Pro Football Focus gave him a 99.9 grade, the highest they can possibly give, meaning Isaiah Rodgers just played the greatest football game of all time. Welcome to Canton, young man. Just, stay away from the money line. The Michael Penis Jr. Award going to the player who rose to the occasion, a player that I think has been unfairly bashed over the first 2 weeks of the season, and finally got a chance to prove how good he is in a clutch situation. I am, of course, talking about the reigning Super Bowl MVP, Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts. Darn it! I can't think of a guy who gets more guff for his passing stats or lack thereof. Cut to this week, and the Eagles are just not getting anything on the ground with Saquon Barkley. It's tough sledding against a very good Rams defense, and that meant the game was solely on Hurts' shoulders for the first time this year. In the second half alone, Hurts led a comeback with 221 total yards, 3 passing touchdowns, including the eventual game winner to Devontae Smith. Jalen Hurts has not lost a game that he started and finished since week 4 last year against the Buccaneers. But we should also look at this from the Rams' perspective because they're my bed shitters. They shat the bed. The Rams were up 26-7 in the second half and then lost.
The bed. That's just the reality of it. It happens to the best teams.
They built that lead in part with a 41-yard touchdown to Devontae Adams that probably included a little bit of a push off on Reed Blankenship. When are white guys gonna catch a break back there, huh? The defense was playing just as well, holding Hurts to -2 net passing yards after a quarter and hitting him as hard as humanly possible without having to go to jail. So why did the Rams lose this game aside from their last-second field goal getting blocked? Well, Cardi actually had a kick blocked earlier that would have made it an 8-point game in the fourth quarter, and they had no one that could match up with A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith on that last drive. The Rams are good, but I think we saw why they're not quite in that elite tier of teams at this moment. Winning game manager? It didn't take a Herculean effort on offense for the Steelers to beat the Patriots on Sunday, probably because the Pats turned the ball over on 5 different occasions, including 2 that erased what could have easily been touchdowns. It's hard to win the losing ball security award the same week the Bengals turned it over 5 times, but congratulations, Patriots. Your fumbles somehow felt much, much worse. Aaron Rodgers did just enough to get the win. A-Rod only passed for 139 yards, but his biggest pass of the day was passing his old teammate Brett Favre on the all-time passing touchdowns list. Favre, of course, did it with the aid of painkillers, and Rodgers did it with ayahuasca and COVID toe. Believe it or not, this was actually the first time Rodgers has won a game in Gillette Stadium, and it only took him 20 years to get it done.
He grabbed booty.
And then he just threw it in the other guy's hole.
My anti-game manager is going to a team that is a very surprising 0-3 right now, and CJ Stroud with the Houston Texans. The Texans offense has been nothing short of abominable this season, putting up just 38 points in the first 3 games. Maybe the coolest thing he did all game was run out of bounds and directly onto the Jags bench where he took a seat next to Trevor Lawrence. The Texans probably steal this game on the road if CJ Stroud doesn't throw a pick deep in Jaguars territory early in the fourth quarter. Despite that, Houston still had a chance to tie the game late, but Josh Hines Allen affected a Stroud throw that ended up being the game-ending interception. A third straight bad game from Stroud, but you have to give the Jags defense a lot of credit for creating 9 turnovers in their first 3 games, because that's as many as they had all of last season. Meanwhile, in Houston, CJ Stroud has been so disappointing that people are begging for the return of Deshaun Watson. Okay, maybe it's time to touch grass, as the kids say. My official FDR of the week belongs to Justin Herbert's clutch touchdown pass to Keenan Allen, which had a 16.7% completion probability. Herbert had 123 passing yards in the fourth quarter alone, and I am flabbergasted at how he got this ball around Nick Bonito's outstretched arm and ahead of Riley Moss in coverage. Did a white corner get an interception this week? No, but Riley Moss did tip this pass that led to a pick. Then Moss got beat by Quentin Johnston. Exciting whites feel a bit more like flat whites. Eggshell whites at the moment. My winning receiver in a losing effort, Trey Tucker, who had maybe the quietest 3-touchdown game and 145 yards I've seen in a while. Tucker had 3 touchdowns all the last season, and this year he's already got 4 in 3 games. Huge fantasy day, so go pick him up before Geno starts throwing the ball to the bald tight end again. Unfortunately, that did not offset the fact that the Commanders dropped 41 points and 400 yards of offense on their heads without the luxury of their starting QB, Jaden Daniels. Even when their backup, Marcus Mariota, is doing stuff like this. Ah, that's a blop. Let's just call that one blop 12. Winning unit? Of course, it's hard to win a game on the road when the Commanders absolutely dominate in the run game and on special teams. It started when Debo, not Fat Samuel, brought back a kick 69 yards. Then Jalen Lane finished the job with a 90-yard punt return all the way back for a TD. The Commies also ripped off 200 yards on the ground, all without Jaden Daniels, mind you, and Jeremy McNichol. Jeremy McNichols.
Now show them your tits.
Jeremy McNichols ripped off 60 yards on one carry when he bounced off multiple Raiders and broke out of the pile for a long score. You can see a team is really well coached when they win big without their starting QB, and Dan Quinn has the Commanders in a good place while Daniels rehabs and while Dan Quinn himself rehabs. For the revenge dagger, there were many choices this week, but it's going to Baker Mayfield.
And it's also their D coordinator was the one that cut me in Carolina, so it was a lot of stuff was personal today. Son Reddick, former Jet. A lot of people.
Nobody's better at inventing reasons to be pissed off than old Baker Mayfield. He did some serious dot connecting and realized that the Jets' defensive coordinator was Steve Wilks, who I guess cut him in Carolina 3 years ago, which was probably the best thing that actually ever happened to Baker's career, but still, he needed his revenge. And revenge he did get. Baker averaged 8 yards per completion against the Jets, didn't turn the ball over, hasn't all season, and continued to find rookie Emeka Egbuka while Mike Evans went to the sideline with a hamstring injury. It looked like the Bucs were going to get to 3-0 with the 2-score victory until that block kick returned for a touchdown totally flipped the script with 2 minutes left to go. Completely fueled and consumed by blind hate for some reason, Baker didn't miss a beat, and he marched the Bucs back down the field for a game winner as time expired. That'll teach former interim head coach Steve Wilks to never cut Baker Mayfield again, damn it. And now the Bucs are 3-0 for the first time since 2005. Back when John Gruden was their head coach and he had yet to even learn what an email was. Losing horrific injury game? Cardinals versus 49ers. Now, the Niners get the win and are 3-0 atop the NFC West with 2 wins coming by way of McCorkle. But they've now lost Nick Bosa for the season to a torn ACL. The Cardinals lost their running back James Conner to a bad-looking foot injury that's going to require surgery. Just shitty news for 2 important players on both teams. My winner, Mac Jones, giving the man who intercepted him no credit.
I mean, I threw it right to the guy, so it wasn't like he made a good play. I mean, good for him. He caught it, like, awesome.
Am I crazy for wanting Mac Jones to start all season for the Niners? The Joe Burrow Award is actually going to Lamar Jackson this week. The Lions bested the Ravens in a 38-30 shootout, and the Lions defense sacked Lamar 7 times. I think exposing his one real flaw as a quarterback, just holding on too long, trying to make something out of nothing. But for the second time this season, King Henry betrayed his quarterback with a costly fumble. His defense gave up 224 rushing yards. Lamar and Jared Goff posted near identical passing stats, but Lamar had 3 touchdowns to Goff's 1, plus 35 rushing yards. Just to take the L, the Ravens defense got absolutely gashed by my winning duo, Sonic and Knuckles. They're back, baby. David Montgomery burns the defense, was a monster. 151 yards on just 12 carries, including a 70-yard rip. Sonic and Knuckles combined for 4 touchdowns and have now scored a rushing touchdown in the same game together, a record 11 times. The Lions offense churned out their longest drive since 2011 with 13 runs, 18 plays, going 98 yards, and taking roughly 10 minutes off the clock in the second quarter. And that's when it felt like they took control of the game. I think all the questions we had about Detroit after week 1 are gone. Even the creative play calling is back. A beautiful handoff pitch that went for a touchdown. Loser? NFL pants for being too damn revealing. Please do not introduce that Eagles security guard to Amon-Ra, rah, St. Brown.
He was looking for booty.
Losing stat? Derrick Henry's the only running back to fumble in all 3 games this season. He had 3 total in 2024. The Ravens are also the first team in NFL history to score 111 points through 3 games and have a losing record. My winning Lion, Al-Quaiden Muhammad, who got 2.5 of the 7 sacks on Monday night. If the Lions can actually continue that kind of relentless quarterback pressure, this defense, while not perfect, will feast this year. They dropped at least 2 interceptions in this game, and Muhammad's pressure was a big reason why. Kinda weird that kind of pressure will make it really hard for anyone to beat Goff this year. Thanks for watching the real winners and losers here on That's Good Sports. You guys are showing up, watching the videos. I appreciate the fuck out of you.